I did watch, I said I wasn't going to, but I had to find out what was going on with our boy Rex Steiner. I did skip through some NXT this past week. And it was a rib because the Steiner was on in a 30-second pre-tape. Otherwise than that, you didn't see him. He was on it. And he was the best part of the show. He said, I'm not here to make friends. If you want a friend, buy a dog. I want the title.
And he said shit.
And he said shit. Because everybody can say shit now. Remember when that shit used to be reserved for never?
Did it come up? Did someone say, Vince, AW can say shit. I want to say shit too. Oh, okay.
Who
are you?
You laugh, but I guarantee you that nobody started saying shit on that show without asking Vince if they could say shit.
Of course.
Meanwhile, they just on the other channel, they just shitty McShit shit without referring to Tony at all. But on NXT, I just got to tell you some of the things, Brian, that they did.
Obviously, I didn't watch.
Obviously, you didn't, and you shouldn't have.
Thank you.
Again, remember when everybody liked this show? Remember when it was the easiest one for us to watch? Okay, the Death Row group, the rappers, Kayfabe, the girl, and the other three, including our friend AJ from the Treasure Show. They rapped and danced and came to the ring and did all their poses. All four of them had microphones. And they did a promo tonight. It's all about the ladies. And they were 6 minutes into this show before here comes the Lucha Suits and Carmen Electra out. And
Carmen Electra?
Yeah. That's our Electra Lopez. Carmen Electra, Jennifer Lopez, whatever the Lucha Suits girl's name is. She was in the opening match. No disqualification. We haven't said it in a while. Lazy booking.
No disqualification.
No disqualification. Kayfabe versus Carmen Electra.
Didn't they just start feuding last review you did?
Yeah, because we haven't seen Carmen Electra before 2 weeks ago.
She got slapped in the face and now they're having a no DQ match?
Yeah, well, the guys got in a big six-way on the floor and the referees came and kicked them out. And when they came back from the break, the girls were on the floor fighting over a fucking table. To be like doing a tug of war over who gets to set the table up. At one point, there were 3 chairs and 2 kendo sticks in the ring. And Carmen beat Kayfabe flat in the middle with her finish. And then 20 minutes into the show to get to that point. Now.
You heard the Hit Row news, right?
What is the Hit Row news?
They have been drafted to SmackDown.
Oh, good Lord. Well, at least we're not watching SmackDown too much anymore. I swear to you what they did next, it was one of those recurring segments through the show. I'm going to tell you about it. Indy and Dexter's romantic day at the beach. They're out on the beach and they're drawing hearts in the sand and they're walking along holding hand. Is the audience of NXT now suddenly supposed to be 14-year-old girls? Because no male over the age of 10 gives a fuck about watching a guy and his girlfriend walking around on a romantic day on the beach. But Johnny Sameface and his wife, Mrs. Sameface, were watching from the balcony of the hotel with binoculars to make sure that Indy and Dexter didn't fuck on the beach. And when it looked like they were getting a little too close, suddenly they look over and see a shark in the water and they run away. And the camera lingers on the shark and it's Johnny Sameface with a shark fin on his head and scuba gear. I am not making this up.
Wait, hold on one second. You know, I was listening.
He impersonated a shark to prevent whatever kind of intercourse that they were going to have on the beach from taking place. And they bought it and they ran off.
Remember when we first started watching Gargano and you would talk about the fact he has no personality, no charisma, no different facial expressions? That's how he got the name, Johnny Sameface.
Yeah.
Are they trying to prove you wrong by showing you just what an amazing amount of charisma he has? Because since that time, he's gotten to the point where you're telling me he's dressed like a shark on a fucking beach.
But see, it's not charisma. It's just a fucking boring guy doing stupid shit. So then they got in the ring, or they went back to the ring, and Joe Gacy is in the ring in his real estate fucking salesman's outfit that he wanders around in. Just a dress shirt and dress pants and shoes.
Well, hold on. Let me just stop you because I know you've said a whole bunch of names the last few weeks. Which one is Joe Gacy?
Exactly. He's a pudgy, kind of, bearded white guy that looks like he rents cars at Enterprise, and he's been on the show for the past 2 or 3 weeks reciting scripted lines about safe spaces and everything being inclusive because somehow some Republican that's responsible for some of this content feels that will make him a heel, but it's boring. It's in a monotone delivery. The people are whatting him out the ass. Nobody cares. And he makes no point. It's like watching some moron on cable access that's running for city council. And he did an interview and he left. And Joe Gacy, I mean, he looks a little bit like John Gacy. The fucking cannibalistic murderer from Des Plaines, Illinois. If the original Gacy had a little bit more hair and was a little younger. But otherwise, is he Jane Wayne Gacy's husband? Old J.C. Gacy or whoever I don't know. Anyway, they've got a new Samoan, Zion Quinn. Now, I didn't know Anthony Quinn was Samoan. I'm not sure that the Quinn dynasty ever came from the South Pacific Islands, but his first name, Zion, is spelled Xyon. And he wrestled Oney Lorcan. So you had Zion Quinn versus Oney Lorcan. I got to be honest with you. I would have loved Zion Quinn in OVW. He's a good-looking athlete. He's got something to him. He's got some explosiveness and some athletic ability. He obviously doesn't need to be on national television right now, but they're doing it anyway. And he beat Oney Lorcan flat in the middle with a flying forearm that would have made Manny Fernandez proud. But I hope British Airways has direct flights because it doesn't look good for Oney.
Is he British? I thought he was from Boston or something.
I thought Oney Lorcan was with the British fellows here a while back.
Maybe I'm wrong. I know he was tagging with them, but for some reason I thought he wasn't British.
Well, is Oney a Boston name or a British name?
I've never heard of a single other human being in my life named Oney. Is it a human name? I don't know.
Well, speaking of human names, here's another one that's got one. Grayson Waller. Grayson Waller does have a trace of an accent from across the pond. Not thick. But he's doing a sit-down interview. Apparently, he's a risk taker. If somebody says to him, dive out of that airplane, he's going to dive out of that airplane. They show footage of... They showed B-roll stock footage of people doing risky things. It wasn't him jumping out of the airplane. It wasn't him fucking whatever. They were just showing stock footage of people doing these things. And he's doing a sit-down interview dressed like he was auditioning for the dating game. And talk. So then, remember MSK?
Yeah.
The fucking goofy tag team with the goofy haircuts and the prison tattoos. They do an in-ring promo, and they have a new girl interviewer, Samantha Irwin, and she got a lower third. She got a graphic with her name, so maybe somebody's listening. But even the interviewers are new here. I've never heard of Samantha Irwin. I did pay plenty of attention to this interview, not because I was listening to MSK read their scripted lines, but because Samantha Irwin was not wearing a brassiere in the outfit that she had on. There was no over-the-shoulder boulder holder to be seen, and I like that. However, the grisly-looking veterans interrupted, asking for a title opportunity, so Vince's verbiage is everywhere. Then Carmella Hayes and his friend Trick came out, and they wanted the same thing, a title opportunity. And by the way, folks, Trick is still bout it. And then after the bad actors spoke in catchphrases for a little while, Briggs and Jensen came out. And Jensen is Barry Buchanan's son. He's 20 years old. So he's got all kinds of potential because he could already talk and he could work a little bit, and he's only 20. And they're Southern boys, so they sounded less rehearsed than everybody else. But basically, they just jumped Carmella and fucking Trick and had a big fight, and then the fight stopped. And we saw it all stop, and then it stopped, and then they left. And, oh boy. The women's tag team title was on the line between Toxic Attraction. The team now, the single is Mandy Rose now because she's got dark hair, so she's nobody to mess with now that she's changed her hair color. But this was the team of Jane Wayne Gacy and Gigi Allen, and they wrestled Io Shirai and Zoe Stark. And old Jane Wayne Gacy was my favorite one because she had attitude, but now they've dyed her hair jet black and it's killed her look. But that was 15 minutes of national television time. Then we got to hear from Rex Steiner for 30 seconds. And then Tommaso Ciampa, who is the NXT champion that Rex Steiner wants the title of, responded that he would drown in an ocean of inexperience, which I kind of thought was cute. Anyway, Andre Chase, who is now doing the Dean Douglas gimmick but dressing like one of the Mean Street Posse, he's wrestling in a sweater and slacks, his own university sweater. He wrestled Boa with the 1,000-year-old woman Mei Ying at ringside. Remember her? She was the one that was torturing Boa and
Xia Li.
The little Boette. I can't remember what
Xia Li.
Xia Li. There you go. So this match ended with an old 1,000-year-old Mei Ying, who doesn't look a day over 960, folks. She didn't blow mist at him. She blew dust in Andre Chase's face, and Boa beat him. Now, of course, Andre Chase is a heel, but the guy wrestling the heel, his manager, cheated so that he could win. So Andre Chase is one of the new ones, and he's already getting beat. So there you go. But I know you're wondering, Brian, did Indy and Dexter smarten up and go back to their hotel room so they could fuck around? That's what you're thinking, wasn't it?
I forgot all about them, to be honest.
Well, don't forget about Indy and Dexter, because the same faces still want to do the cock blocking, right? So Johnny Sameface has basically, he's outside their hotel room. He tells one of the maids that it's his room. She lets him in, like that'll ever work. He goes into the room. He finds in one of Dexter's clothes pockets a string of about 100 condoms. And then they come in while he's in there. So he hides in a closet. While they sit down on the bed, they don't see Johnny Sameface hiding in the closet or the multiple camera people that were shooting multiple angles of this right out in front of them. There's a camera in the closet. There's a camera next to their bed shooting them. They have no idea that anything is amiss. So they start to have a pillow fight. But then Indy starts going harder, harder. And fucking Johnny Sameface is just, he's embarrassed. Then Roderick Strong beat Grayson Waller. That was for the Cruiserweight title.
Did he win the title?
Well, no, I think he's already the
I don't know.
The champion. Yeah, well, Roddy won. So Grayson Waller's already doing jobs. So he's a risk taker, but he's not much of a fucking match winner.
Mazel tov.
Trey Baxter and Cora Jade got to do a promo in the back, and they're a couple. And just so we know, they kissed each other very chastely and politely with no tongue. And then we saw the debut of the brand new talk show that apparently is going to be on NXT. Brian, you were really just anxiously awaiting this debut, right? Remember Lashing Out with Lash Legend?
Oh, that's right. I was just thinking, who was it that had the talk show? I forgot. And someone screaming in the hallway. They must have heard the news. It's Lash Legend.
Yes. Well, this was pre-taped, not in the ring. It was pre-taped in front of a studio audience. with Lash Legend, whoever the fuck that she may be, sitting in a chair, drinking, I believe, from a martini glass or something. The set looked like a cheap comedy club. You didn't really see the crowd, the studio audience. You saw back of a couple of heads, and you heard them, but you didn't see who they are because probably they were all fucking tech assistants from the Stamford studio. Anyway, the premise of this show is that Lash Legend, whoever she may be, sits in her chair and recites scripted lines, kind of like, who is that? There's an afternoon talk show host that people swear that she is not a what's the polite word for this? A transsexual person, but that she was really born a woman, but she looks like she's about 6'3" and she could kick your ass.
Oh, you talking about Wendy Williams?
Wendy Williams.
The height is what made me think of it. Not the other allegations that you said that other people are making about her.
Well, I'm just saying, some people say that she actually was born a woman and is not, and other people say, well, that's ridiculous.
Ooh.
But and some people say that she's entertaining, which is the most ridiculous thing of all. Well, Lash Legend is a bad version of Wendy Williams, and she sits and recites lines in that kind of flavor and then points to pictures next to her that they superimpose on the screen of people that she's talking about. This was abysmal. This ranks right up there with My Mother the Car and Jackie Gleason and You're in the Picture as the greatest bombs in television history. Remember, Jackie Gleason hosted that program 1 week back in the early 1960s. And the second week of the show was Jackie Gleason coming out on stage for 30 minutes and apologizing for the previous week's television program that they would never do again.
Remember, Jerry Lewis had a talk show too.
And this was worse than that. Hey, lady. So then Pete Dunne and Ridge Holland attacked Kyle O'Reilly in the aisleway, and they went to a break. And when they came back from the break, the match was already going. So he just got jumped and the shit kicked out of him. But when they come back, he's all right. And O'Reilly won. The heels got heat. Von Wagner came in and made the save. He's Wayne Bloom's son, right? He looks like John Studd's nephew. Tony D'Angelo was on the docks this week. This segment was 80s Tuesday Night Titans. It's just so, I mean, I'm expecting to see the Brother Love show next week. This is 80s WWF in the worst way. The one thing that gave me any kind of fuzzy feeling, the main event was for the women's title, Raquel Gonzalez against Frankie Monet. Finally, we get to see Frankie Monet wrestle. And I'm kind of a fan of Raquel Gonzalez. She's green. Love Frankie Monet. They were serious. They've both got some size and strength to them. Monet is gorgeous. She's got great facial. She can work. They've positioned Gonzalez as kind of a kick-ass babyface, and she's strong. I mean, so both these girls do different stuff from the other girls. You don't get these interchangeable 100-pound blondes like Alexa Bliss and the other interchangeable blondes. I can't remember their names. I just fast-forwarded through some of them on SmackDown. They, with the pissy forearms and the fucking herky-jerky movements. They didn't do any gymnastics in this match, which was refreshing. Gonzalez needs to work on her comeback and not rushing it because she did. But Gonzalez won with a power bomb, kind of a modified power bomb, and then had a wardrobe malfunction. Her shoulder strap of her outfit came loose, and she grabbed the belt and put the belt over her shoulder when she's standing there after the match. But then the heels all come out. Toxic Attraction. I should specify which heels. Toxic Attraction comes out, but they, instead of beating up Raquel Gonzalez first, they beat up Frankie Monet and Jessie Kamehameha, her Assistant Stooge, and Robert Stone. They're the heels. They were in the aisleway. So Frankie Monet did the job and then got beat up by Toxic Attraction. And then they got in the ring and attacked Raquel Gonzalez. And she had to get the shit kicked out of her while trying to keep her boob from falling out of her top at the same time because they had no time to fix that. And Frankie and her gang, instead of Spanky and our gang, it's Frankie and her gang. I've just named their group. They just disappeared. So I like the match, but I don't know who the heels are, who the baby faces are, and why they did what they did. But that was in it. Doesn't that NXT program sound exciting, Brian?
It sounds like it shouldn't be on TV.
I'm telling you, in 3 weeks, it has gone from remember how you say, well, at least it's a professionally produced program, and everybody's highly trained, and they look like they're in good shape, and even if it's boring in some cases because people aren't over, they're not going to do anything insulting. They've gone completely into I would not have been particularly happy about airing this as an Ohio Valley Wrestling program on, as I've mentioned, one major station and one satellite station in the state of Kentucky instead of much less national television. You know what? It's enough, Brian. It is enough to make you sick to your stomach to watch what they have done to this show. And, you know, the people in the United States and around the world, you got bad enough stomachs as it is. Your gut health is fucking rotten. I know you people have heard this before, but I'm going to tell you again, including me, all of us, we've got horrible guts. You know that feeling in your gut? It's disease, pestilence, and potential death. Because we're killing ourselves, apparently, from what I've heard, with our fundamentally broken food system, Brian. And only the people at Uprising Food are trying to do anything about it. Because the food system is making us sick, and they're trying to do something about that. They want to be the ones to make, if anybody's going to make us sick, Uprising Foods wants to be the one to do it. No, I'm sorry. They want to make us well. I got that backwards. Yeah, that's correct, right? They want to make us well.
Very well, as well as you can be.
As well as you can be with healthy food, because Uprising's mission is to liberate all of us. Viva la resistance! Liberate all of us from a fundamentally broken food system that is stealing our health. The real devil here in this equation is the snowball effect of silent inflammation. When you're eating all this crap and processed stuff that they feed us that tastes so good, you're killing yourself. But Uprising has cracked the code on healthy bread. You cannot find something this healthy that tastes this good, that's this fresh, anywhere in the world. You can't find it, folks, I promise you. But in this situation, there's only 2 net carbs per serving, 6 grams of protein, and 9 grams of fiber. They cover paleo, clean keto, simple, low carb, high fiber, dairy-free, grain-free lifestyles, whatever. You can eat this shit. If you can get it down your gullet, folks, it'll fit any diet. Uprising products are baked with real superfood ingredients like almonds, MCT oil, apple cider vinegar, egg whites, psyllium husks, not to be confused with psilocybin, which potentially may be an additive you might want to put on this stuff in the privacy of your own home. Also, olive oil. That's in there too. But I'm telling you, it's not a loaf of bread, Brian. It's a sourdough-esque cube of bread that I believe you engage in family time with by letting the children cut off some chips or some pieces or slices of this. And sometimes they do arts and crafts projects with it. Sometimes they're patching holes in the roof.
I will say it is delicious because we had one that was fresh, and then we had a second one that we put in the freezer. And we said, let's try this out after a few weeks. And we took it out of the freezer 3 days ago, and it was delicious. And we've become a big fan of it. We're actually ordering more. The kids like it. I'm not allowed to cut my own slices anymore because I like to do triangle-ish slices. So I get a thin end and a thick end. And I was told not to cut it anymore or no one will talk to me.
Wait a minute. You don't cut your bread or even sourdough-esque bread product slanted, do you? It's got to be consistent, the same thickness all the way through.
It can be if you cut a second slice with the same dimensions going the other way. I'm not saying it's a big triangle. It's a long, thin triangle that at one end of it has a fat ass, and it goes up and it gets very thin at the top.
Well, sounds like the devil's triangle to me. Folks, it all comes down to taste, though. Taste is the thing. And healthy foods are littered with broken promises. I've probably made a few in this program already. Uprising has nailed the taste factor to the wall on both their sourdough-esque cubes and the crunch factor on their newly launched Freedom Chips, which taste vaguely like those old-school rye chips that you also enjoy from your... Remember when you were a kid and they gave you those rye chips in school? When you had misbehaved and you'd pissed in the coat closet and they said, here, eat this.
What?
That'll teach you.
No.
They're super filling. But anyway, folks, Uprising is offering our listeners $10 off the starter bundle. What in the world, you say, is the starter bundle? Well, that includes 2 Superfood.
Every time.
See, there's the syllables in here. Superfood cubes, not Superfood cubes, but Superfood cubes. There's 2 of those Superfood. God damn it! There's 2 of them goddamn bricks in there, and 4 packs of Freedom Chips. That'll get the whole family. You can wipe them all out at one try. Go to uprisingfood.com/JCE, and the discount, $10 that is, will be automatically applied at checkout. That's uprisingfood.com, UPRISING, food.com/JCE to get $10 off your purchase of the starter bundle. And if you think the starter bundle is great, wait till you get a hold of the finish bundle. That'll fucking trip your trigger.
Delicious food. We're, like I said, in the process of ordering more right now.
Delicious food, that's what I like. And loud noises.